Picture Easter Island 17th century. Massive stone statues, silent and imposing, loom over a barren landscape. But centuries earlier, this island was lush with trees and life. What happened to this paradise? Why did its society unravel, leaving these giant stone monuments as haunting relics? This mystery isn't just about Easter Island. It's a window into how thriving civilizations fray and collapse, an urgent warning for us all. Let's start with a story frozen in stone, but one melting fast in history's memory. Easter Island's giant Moai statues tell of grandeur, but behind them, a society collapsing under its own weight. Easter Island's people once thrived with a dense forest that fed and housed them. By the time Europeans arrived, every tree was gone. Without wood, their giant statues stopped rising, farming soil eroded, and society fractured. Jarred diamond shows us how a crucial resource vanished, slowly but surely dooming the islanders. The island acted like a petri dish for resource mismanagement. Imagine a checking account. Each tree cut was a withdrawal, but no deposits were made. As the islanders kept spending their natural capital without saving or replanting, they overdrew their ecosystem. This biological bankruptcy was irreversible. Diamond flips Easter Island into a metaphor for us. It's not ancient history, it's a mirror reflecting how ignoring nature leads to collapse. The island's story warns us, if you wreck your environment, your society won't follow far behind. Now shift to the American Southwest. The Anasazi thrived amid brutal deserts, their fate traced through tree rings and abandoned cliff dwellings, signs of a community run dry by nature and choice. The Anasazi lived on fragile desert land where water was king. Tree ring data reveals severe droughts in the 13th century that parched crops and dried cisterns. Without steady water, their complex farming systems failed, forcing mass migration and societal collapse. They built far-flung trade routes for food and goods, like a desert version of a modern supply chain. While this helped buffer hard times, it also made communities dependent on unstable relationships, which isolated groups when tensions and scarcity increased. As water dried up and trade faltered, Anasazi society faced internal fighting over resources and land. Social fragmentation was as lethal as the drought. Diamond highlights how environmental stress ratchets up social tension, turning neighbors into rivals and peace into collapse. Finally, jump to our modern landscape, from Montana's forests to global climate change. Diamond's thesis isn't stuck in the past, it demands we read the writing on the wall, loud and clear. Montana's logging history shows a microcosm of collapse risks. Timber and mining boomed, but heavy exploitation strained the forests and soil. Locals like Rich Label and Tim Hulls witnessed faltering ecosystems and bitter clashes over land use, modern echoes of ancient resource conflicts. Diamond stresses a brutal truth: societies ignore danger signs at their peril. Just like Easter Island's vanished trees and the Anasazi's dried-up wells, modern societies can't afford complacency. Climate change, biodiversity loss, and resource depletion aren't distant threats, they're live crises unfolding now. The payoff: Diamond urges conscious stewardship. He says our future depends on grasping these interconnected patterns and acting decisively, protecting resources, embracing regulation, and listening to the environment's feedback. Collapse isn't inevitable, but only if we choose sustainability as our compass. Remember those giant Easter Island statues? Silent witnesses to what happens when we ignore nature's limits. Diamond's stories, from island to desert to Montana, are ringing alarms about our own fragile future. So here's a thought: start noticing the ecosystems around you, your water, your soil, your forests. Try one small action to protect them this week. Because collapse doesn't just happen in history books, it's a choice we make or avoid today. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.